Good day, it is I, Lord Pendlebury, and welcome to Evolution Sim Racing Season 3 2024. If you're looking at me thinking, Christ, Mark, you're looking ropey, you're sounding ropey, and generally just look a bit shit, that's because I'm all of those things. Especially just a bit shit bit. But I tell you what it has done is it means I have a beautiful timbre to my voice. I can go impressively low these days. It's fucking fantastic. I know, ladies, form an orderly queue. Well, there's no ladies watching this. Anyway, if you would like to come and get involved, then we have plentiful reasons down there for you to peruse. We've got a website down there for you to peruse as well. So yeah, do feel free to come and get involved, but for now we are going to crack on with this week's highlights. This week's highlights, we are in for the first time in a fair few seasons a welcome return to the Mazda MX-5s, and they are going to be we raced those, where did we race those? At the Red Bull Ring. So yeah, do enjoy, but for now yeah, let's crack on with this week's highlights. Well, hello then, and welcome to rounds 3 and 4 of the Evolution Sim Racing Season 3 of 2024. That is one hell of a mouthful. And we are at the beautiful Red Bull Ring just outside Spielberg in Austria. Not too many places in the world that are more beautiful to do your racing. That said, iRacing's blocky mountains do leave a little to be desired. As you can see, for rounds 3 and 4, we are in the Mazda MX-5, not featured in the Evolution Sim Racing roster for a fair few seasons, but a popular return nonetheless. 25-minute sprint race is the start, no mandatory pit stop in this one, so I would recommend you don't do that if you want to win. Of course, qualifying took place prior to this one, so let's take a look and see how that panned out, and you will also see that we have now made things a lot clearer in terms of the Pro and Am standings. So, on pole position in the Pro category was Lord Pendlebury, second week in a row. He has claimed pole position, but a poor start last week will surely be in his mind as he heads away from the lights this time round. Will Thomas, he sits on the front row of the grid alongside Lord Pendlebury. Dan Slattery, he was tipped as many people's favourite for pole position for this one, a Mazda MX-5 guru, some people may call him. But third place was all he could muster, not being able to get together the lap of his dreams. Jeff Sharp was then in 4th. We then had Jamie Nicholson in 5th place, with James Hurlow in 6th, and Ricky Worrell rounding out the Pro category in 7th. Then in the Am category, Chris Palmer claimed pole position. Chris Hulse was then in 2nd place, with Axel Edwards in 3rd. Travis Dorado was in 4th, and Brian Dodd in 5th. Taking a little look further down, why is it not scrolling for me? Please scroll for me. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it in the wrong place. Silly me. 13th, no, not 13th, that is 6th place for Josh Morris. Anthony Marriott was then in 7th, with Steve Everson not setting a time, along with Anthony Marriott actually, and he is in 8th. Well, let's go and head down trackside for the highlights for this one. And they are off. Looks like a pretty reasonable start for all. Heading down towards turn 1 now. Front 4 all in line by the looks of things. Indeed they are. Looks like whoever that is, Will Thomas, right up close behind Pendlebury. Pendlebury defends as they head up towards turn 3. Thomas looking to take the outside line, runs over the sausage curb a little bit. Doesn't tend to impact you too much in the MX-5s. Side by side they go. Dan Slattery looking to get involved as well in the number 24 VRS car. Jeff Sharp looking to come around all the way around the outside of Dan Slattery. Would have been a lovely move if it paid off. Pendlebury and Thomas still side by side. Who will win out? Pendlebury looks like he's got a little bit wide through Power Horse. And finally, side by side for a fair old chunk of time there, those two. Oh, Thomas is well out wide there. Slattery looks up the inside of Pendlebury. And for the second week running, Pendlebury has not done well when it comes to his opening lap. So we've got a right old gap between the front runners and the not so front runners at the moment. You can see, look at that massive gap. Not sure what happened there. Let's bring up the track map and really see what's going on. Well, yeah, you can see there. And oh, message through from race control. Missed start for Slaphead Worrell. Starts from the pits. Not sure how he's managed to do that, clumsy boy. Chatter on the radio suggests he had jumped back back to the pits to check his fuel levels just as Pendlebury had gridded up, the final person to grid. And obviously, if you do that, oh, and it doesn't. We've got Dan Slattery. Oh, there's a crash, bang, and wallop there. And wow. Looks like Jeff Sharp has been into the back of Pendlebury. Well, I have to go back and take a look at that replay. Chris Palmer on the radio, leader of the AM class, is... Oh, there's something going on. Oh, there's absolute chaos everywhere. Brian Dodd involved, Travis Dorado involved. Not sure what happened. Another replay we're going to have to go back, and looks like Brian Dodd is completely stuck, and indeed he is. He recovers to the pit lane. Ricky Worrell is still running, but going off the timing tower, 2 minutes and 4 seconds behind his nearest competitor in the pro category. And who is that? Chris Palmer. He has got some serious damage. That's what we were originally going to say. And, well, yeah, that front right is not rotating the way it should do. Well, this incident between Brian Dodd and Travis Dorado there. And, oh, I tell you what, who was that nearly into them? That was Ricky Worrell. We'll take a look at that from another angle. Oh, here we are looking down, and, well, Travis Dorado, I feel at blame for that one. Just moved across from Brian Dodd, nowhere for Brian Dodd to go. Very similar to the incident between Max Verstappen and someone else, Lando Norris, at this very track in the Formula 1 this weekend just gone. So, sorry Trav, but that's going to be 10 penalty points. No, not 10. A 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points to you. Well, Steve Everson getting into some strife here, the number 25 car. Round turn 3, and just gets a little loose. Then Josh Morris, nowhere to go. Spins him round, and then attempts to absolutely murder Ricky Worrell. Perhaps a retort to Ricky Worrell's questionable rejoin last season. Well, this is what happened to a group of cars up to turn 3, and sharp into the back of, well, oh, it just gets funnier and funnier every time you see it. So much so that let's take a look at it from another angle. Let's go for the blimp for this one. Just Slattery gets through Will Thomas, and then it all kind of stops a bit. Pendlebury gets on the brakes, and then it's just like a snooker trick shot. They're all just into each other, but look at the front of Chris Palmer's. Well, that front wheel is not rotating. So it looks like Anthony Marriott is closing in on Axel Edwards. Oh, that's a nice run from Marriott through there. And I'll tell you what, as they head down towards turn 4, with that slipstream, he may well get an opportunity. Chris Hulse just about keeping these two at arm's length as it stands. Siri thinks I'm talking to it. Stupid twat. And it looks like we've got to move Will Thomas And Penderbury all over each other. Penderbury trying to go all the way around the outside there. And Jeff Sharp comes steaming through the middle there. Through the middle, up the inside. And he gets a 2-for-1 deal. 4th place into 2nd place for Jeff Sharp. Very nicely done. Well, here is that move from Jeff Sharp. Penderbury gets a little bit wide. And Sharp just sneaks up the inside. Excellent opportunistic driving from the Team 19 man. 2-for-1 deal for him. Dan Slattery seems to be struggling a little bit with that turn 1. Like 3 wide there. Looks like they might be. As our Anthony Marriott has got past Axel Edwards, so we'll go back and take a look at that in a minute as well. But this battle in the Pro class, you feel like it's only going to end one way. Oh, bit of lag there, not sure what's caused that. There's more lag there. I don't know where to look. There is battling everywhere. Everyone for the lead. 2 by 2. And Penderbury just about gets that position. So Jeff Sharp in the last lap has gone from 4th to 2nd and back to 4th again. And then we've got Jamie Nicholson and James Hurlow going side by side. Oh, fantastic camera angle this one. And they all tuck in line with Hurlow behind Jamie Nicholson. And it looks like Josh Morris has been closing in on Steve Everson. There they are. Steve Everson just over half a second ahead of Morris here. And round that final turn they go. Let's go and check in with the AM category. We have Chris Hulse leading the way. There he is. Anthony Marriott. That gap has halved. It was a second. Anthony Marriott doing what he can to close it down. And oh, it sounds like we've got destruction. That's Will Thomas in the middle of the road. We'll go back and have a look and see what happened there. But he was obviously in the battle with the lead for the lead with everybody in the Pro class. Ricky Worrell, incidentally, has now retired. But we'll go back and have a look and see what happened there. And now Anthony Marriott really closed in at that gap to Chris Hulse and looking up the inside, heading along the back straight down towards turn 4. Chris Hulse going very defensive. Well, taking a look back to see what happened to Will Thomas, and just took more speed than Slattery. Then Pendlebury just finished him off. Nowhere ready for Pendlebury to go. Noted that Jeff Sharp went into the back of Pendlebury yet again. Anthony Marriott keeps it a little bit wider on the entry, and the switchback goes very nicely. We've got somebody spinning in the background. How will these two go through Power Horse? Marriott looking to swing it all the way around the outside. Pulled an excellent move on Pendlebury last week, all the way around the outside. Can't quite get it done there against Chris Hulse, though. Chris Hulse has moved to defend again as they come through the penultimate turn. Tuggy taking a look to the inside, takes that last corner well, but he was on a slightly tighter line. That would kill his momentum fractionally. What this battling has done, though, has allowed Axel Edwards to close in on them again. So this battle for the lead in the AM class has gone from a two-way to a three-way battle. Also looks like Josh Morris has dropped down the order. I feel like he may have been the spinner that we caught a glimpse of. Now that's dropped him down behind Travis Dorado. Hard onto the brakes they go. Marriott looking to go all the way around the outside of turn 3. He's got good drive. Question is, will he be able to get back ahead? Before they get down to turn 4. Get back ahead. Get ahead is probably what I should say. Edwards looking to get involved. Oh, he sends it really deep there, Edwards. I'll tell you what, if he pulls that off. Oh, and there's contact between Marriott and Hull. Yeah, Marriott and Hulls, but my goodness, that move from Axel Edwards was a stunning one. And just like that, from third place to first place, he takes the lead. Very nicely done there, Axel Edwards. Well, here is that move from Axel Edwards. Some say I overused the blimp shot. I would agree, but I feel this one really gets the late braking. Excellent stuff then from Axel Edwards to sweep around both of them. Third place to first place. Excellent stuff. And Anthony Barrett looks like he's got a decent run there as they head up towards turn 3. Not sure exactly out of the two jinks on this straight is turn 2. I suspect it's the one we've just been through. He's got the inside line. He's later on the brakes than Edwards. Will Edwards try to switch back underneath him? He will, and I tell you what, he's got good drive as they head out of that corner. Ducks back into the slipstream. Marriott pulls out. He'll have the outside line. Can he perhaps replicate? Oh no, that's Edwards. And Edwards looking to replicate what he did to take the lead, but it looks like he's pushed it a little bit wide. He has dipped some wheels in the gravel. Feel it'll be unlikely. Oh, and hello, in the M category, we've got the worst camera angle possible to look at it at, but that is Josh Morris, and he has made a move on Travis Dorado. That's for 5th place. Will he be able to hold on to this one? Indeed it is. The white flag is flying, so Pendlebury only has this chance to get past to take the victory. I don't think everything is over in that battle between Morris and Dorado. They are still very close together. 0.3 of a second in it. They indeed are still all over each other. Pendlebury looks like he's taken the lead. Looking around the outside of Slattery. Slattery's later on the brakes. Pendlebury looking to switch underneath. Is he? No, he isn't. And doesn't get a fantastic drive off of that corner. That's the battle between Dorado and Morris. Dorado looking to challenge as they head up the hill. He's a bit later on the brakes. Morris claims the apex. Oh, just about enough room for the two of them. Pendlebury has forced Slattery to go defensive into the final 2 turns in the pro category. And it looks like he's got a good run there. Pulls out side by side, but the lines are going to come up too quickly, I think. There it is, and Slattery confirms by 0.06 of a second. Takes that win. Well done to him. Here is Anthony Marriott. Axel Edwards did start closing down the gap, but then I think he must have had a spin, because I could see there he's now 14 seconds back. And the Dorado and Morris battle is going to go down to the line as well. Dorado taking a wider line in there, but doesn't quite get the apex. Runs well wide there, and I think that will probably be it. A good battle in the closing stages between these two. I tell you what, though, Morris a little bit scruffy through that final turn. Dorado ducks for the line, but can't get past in time. So 5th place for Morris and 6th for Dorado. Well, this is what happened to Axel Edwards. Just very similar to what Steve Everson did earlier in the race. Oh, is he going to go for the J-turn? Nope, he's just turned around. And here they are. Well, that's perhaps not the most optimal way of viewing the results. I will concede I may not have looked at this brilliantly. Let's see if we can do it like this. Nope, that's made fuck all difference. Let's do it like this. Starting off then with the pro category. Well, Dan Slattery, well, it was a fantastic battle between all of them, really, apart from Ricky Worrell. He really missed out on some fun there. 10 laps down for him in 7th, but Slattery, Pendlebury, Sharp, Nicholson and Hurlow all finishing just a thousandth over a second, 2 seconds, sorry, between all of them across the line. Will Thomas was obviously involved for the first half of that race, but that contact into the back of Slattery caused him to start spinning, and then was rather cemented into the barriers by Pendlebury. Nothing they could all do about that, so I'll make sure I'll get that in. But yeah, podium for Slattery, Pendlebury and Sharp. 4th place for Nicholson, 5th place for Hurlow, 6th place for Will Thomas, and 10 laps down, Ricky Worrell in 7th. Let's take a look at the AM standings. Anthony Marriott, he took the win, and a very good win it was. Some good battling in there. Axel Edwards, he finished in 2nd still, but 14.4 seconds down after that incident in turn 4. We then have Steve Everson, he rounded out the podium 19 seconds back. Chris Hulse then finished in 4th place, having taken a trip into the barriers after some contact with Marriott. Travis Dorado was then in 5th with... That's confusing me. Why is Travis Dorado showing in 5th and Josh Morris showing in 7th? Maybe Josh Morris has a penalty that I do not know about. But either way, Travis Dorado is in 5th. Chris Palmer in 6th after that early contact with the rear end of somebody that I can't remember. Josh Morris in 7th, and Brian Dodd ended up 13 laps down. We'll take a very quick break and then head over to the feature race highlights. Well, hello then, and welcome back for round 4 of the Evolution Sim Racing Championship, Season 3 of 2024. We're in the Mazda MX-5s at the Red Bull Ring. This time it's the feature race, 45 minutes with mandatory pit stop. Don't take tyres though, if you don't want to be stopped for about 3 weeks. Let's cross over for everybody's favourite game, Guess That Livery. Oh, could have removed that first, that would have been a bit more professional, but oh well. So on pole position for the pro category, that is Will Thomas. Alongside him is James Hurlow in 2nd. Second row of the grid is made up of Jeff Sharp and Jamie Nicholson. Then have Dan Slattery and Lord Pendlebury in 5th and 6th. And then into the AM category we have... How can I have forgotten who it is? Josh Morris. I've literally just done this before, fucked it up, and had to start again, and I've still forgotten. So that's Josh Morris with Chris Palmer alongside him in 2nd place. We then have Axel Edwards in 3rd with Steve Everson in 4th. 5th place is Anthony Marriott with championship leader Chris Hulse starting in 6th. God, that was far more seamless than the first attempt, so count yourselves lucky. Engine notes rise. Long hold. And they are off. Looks like a decent start for Will Thomas. Looks like a decent start for everyone, really. Chris Hulse a little bit slow off the line there. Heading down towards turn 1. And Will Thomas will be looking to scamper ahead and get away, but as we saw in the first race, that is very difficult to do. Drafting is a very strong thing on this track and in these cars. Looks like we've got Pendlebury and Slattery side by side, and it looks like we've got everybody side by side in the AM category. That is Chris Palmer on the outside of Josh Morris as they head down towards turn 4. Still jostling for position with a lot of them. Chris Hulse has made good strides. He's side by side with Axel Edwards. Already made up 2 positions. Go around they go 2 by 2. Oh, and there's an incident ahead. That is Will Thomas, the pole sitter. He's in the barriers. Oh, and we've got smoke in the foreground. That's Josh Morris going round. He's recovering, but he'll be a few seconds down on the rest of them. Oh, and that's Axel Edwards going through the gravel. He may well pick up a slowdown for that. Let's bring up some race information so I can actually see who's close on track and who's not. We've lost a couple of competitors from the first race, namely Ricky Worrell and David Baddiel's name came to my mind then. What? Oh Christ, I can't remember your name, Brian. No, there it is. That was easy. Brian Dodd. He's also missing. Oh, looking like they're going a bit side by side here. Anthony Marriott on the inside of Chris. No, not Chris. Jesus Christ. Steve Everson. And the recovering Will Thomas is looking to send it 3 wide. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? It's Anthony Marriott and Will Thomas, truly making it 3 wide at this point. Can they get round here unscathed? There's a little bit of bumpy. Oh, Will Thomas gaining an advantage from going off the track. Do that in F1 and you are giving those positions up. Though technically, as Will Thomas is a pro driver, and these are AMs, there's no actual impact on the standings here. And Will Thomas sweeps around the outside. And gets that done. And Anthony Marriott looking to take advantage here. Is he going to get it done before they turn left at Power Horse? He does indeed. Very nicely done, Anthony Marriott. Right, let's take a look and see how things are going at the front of the Pro category. And as in the first race, pretty much everybody is battling for the lead. Barely a second covering the top 5. James Hurlow currently leading the way, but Dan Slattery in 5th place sets the fastest lap of the race in category. Chris Hulse does the same in the AM category. Chris Hulse has made a move on Chris Palmer there and takes the lead of the AM category. And it looks like we're side by side in the background. That is between Anthony Marriott and Will Thomas. Will Thomas has got some damage on that rear end, so clearly some contact has been made. And Chris Palmer is now ahead of Chris Hulse. Now Chris Hulse is ahead of Chris Palmer. I'm doing a thoroughly good job of missing all the action here. Axel Edwards looks to the inside of Chris Palmer. Gets it stopped. Who will have the momentum? Chris Palmer not letting Chris Hulse get away. Trying to wrestle that Chris Prime title away from him. Oh, we've got Chris Palmer and Chris Hulse side by side. Or at least they were side by side. Chris Palmer's made the move. Axel Edwards also looking to get involved. Is on the outside then of Chris Hulse. Chris Hulse potentially looking at the inside of Chris Palmer, but can't do it. Edwards looking for the switchback. He's got it, but the next turn is a left-hander. Will he be able to hang it out? Kicks up the dirt. Ooh, is there a bit of contact there? Potentially. They aren't quite side by side anymore. Chris Hulse takes the position, but that affords Chris Palmer nearly a second lead. And moves looking like they're being made in the pro category. Pendlebury and Jamie Nicholson battling away with each other, and Jamie Nicholson pulls to the inside. Pendlebury doesn't look to defend as they head up towards turn 3. And that looks like that is James Hurlow pulling off to the side. That will be for a slowdown, you'd have thought. So he's gone from leading this one, and he is now down in 5th place. Those slowdowns are harsh, and Jeff Sharp now inherits the lead with a 1.2 second lead. Can he get away?
No.
Looks like Marriott's got a decent run there. Has he got enough of an overlap as they come down to the penultimate turn? He has. Slots in nicely. That gives him 4th place. He will look to start closing that gap to Axel Edwards. It's standing at 1.8 seconds. Well, lots of things have happened. Axel Edwards and Chris Palmer leaving the gravel in unison. What have they been doing? We will take a look at the replay and find out, but that has really shifted things around in the AM category. Things have been spread out. Chris Palmer 8.4 seconds now off the back of Steve Everson. Anthony Marriott and Steve Everson are now up in 2nd and 3rd. Steve Everson looks like he's got a decent run here on Marriott. Decides against doing anything about it though. Oh, and things have started kicking off in the pro category. That's Pendlebury up the inside of Jeff Sharp, looking to take the lead. Hard on the brakes, car squirming around. And he has taken the lead, and he's invited Dan Slattery to the party because he's now up on the inside of Jeff Sharp as well. Slattery tucks in behind Pendlebury. Is he going to look to the inside? Decides against it. That's James Hurlow also looking up the inside of Jeff Sharp. So Sharp, in the space of a couple of corners, has gone from 1st to 3rd. And Chris Palmer looks like he has just got past Axel Edwards. Well, he doesn't. We're looking down on them now, side by side. Oh, can he switch back underneath him? Oh, well, there's poor connection. Let's watch Edwards so that doesn't stop flickering, or so that does stop flickering. Edwards looking to the inside. And through he goes. Oh, into the pits. Both of them are going into the pits. Deciding now is the time. James Hurlow looks like he is... Oh, it's all kicking off again. He's trying to force his way past Sharp, and he gets past Sharp. It's a little bit deep into the right-hander of 3. But like a well-oiled salmon, through he goes. Oh, and it's Pendlebury all over the place. Just got all crossed up coming out the last turn, and that has thrown away the lead and 2 positions. Jeff Sharp looking up the inside as well to make it even worse for Pendlebury. And now James Hurlow is on the outside of Dan Slattery. Hurlow just fractionally ahead as they head up the hill. Who will be the last of the late breakers. Pendlebury looking to immediately come past Jeff Sharp again as well. Looks like he's making that move stick. Hurlow and Slattery remain side by side. Around turn 3. Now they start heading back downhill towards turn 4. Slattery squeezing him as much as he dares. He's slightly later on the brakes. And manages to retain the lead of the race. Pendlebury now applying some considerable pressure to Hurlow. Hurlow goes slightly defensive into Power Horse. Well, we are just about creeping up on half distance in this one. And, well, other than Will Thomas in the pro category, it's pretty much everybody for first place. As James Hurlow looks to pull out from behind Slattery. Going to have another go on the outside line at turn 3. Pendlebury in closer attendance this time round. Good momentum there from Pendlebury and great momentum from James Hurlow. He takes the lead. And Pendlebury now on the outside line against Dan Slattery. Jeff Sharp, ever the opportunist, looking to see what he can do as well. But Slattery tucks in. And it's all changed again. James Hurlow then leads the way. He was leading at the start of this one. Got that slowdown, but he's battled his way back up to leading this one. Yeah, as I was saying, basically everybody for first place, other than Will Thomas, who obviously had that incident earlier in the race. And then in the AM category, here is our AM category leader. That's a lie. Sorry, Chris Palmer, you're not leading. Chris Hulse, there he is, leading the way. Steve Everson about 2.8 seconds back then. Anthony Marriott, let's just open up the pit stop information. You can see there that Anthony Marriott, Chris Palmer and Axel Edwards have all pitted at this point. That is why they are a fair way back, although obviously Palmer and Edwards had their trip into the kitty litter. And Josh Morris did retire. I didn't notice at the time, but he retired a few laps back, well, 6 laps back, going off of the timing tower there. Well, James Hurlow has come in, well, he's come into the pits and he's come out of the pits and he is 36.5 seconds behind Jamie Nicholson. Let's see if anybody peels into the pits this time round. Pendlebury doesn't, Slattery doesn't. Jeff Sharp, however, does. Jamie Nicholson stays out. Taking a look at the pit stops then, and Chris Hulse now the only person not to pit in the AM category. Steve Everson currently 37.6 seconds behind, and we know from that gap that Hurlow had that Chris Hulse will retain the lead when he comes back out. Oh, I keep on going to the wrong Chris. That's our AM category leader, Chris Hulse. Increasing his lead over Steve Everson, so he has a nice, comfortable gap to come out to. But the one that I really wanted to have a look at was this one, as Chris Palmer and Axel Edwards are alongside each other. Palmer brakes later. Edwards does get a better drive out of the corner though. Edwards looking to the inside. And through the inside he goes. Chris Palmer then looks to switch back underneath him. Cracking little battle these two are having. I'm not sure what's going on here. Serious connection issues. Oh, Palmer sends it on the inside. This is fantastic stuff from these two. Pendlebury has now pitted as well, but he has come out, well, just under 10 seconds ahead of Hurlo and Sharp. This is a terrible camera angle. And Dan Slattery is getting involved with Chris Palmer. What's happened to Axel Edwards? He's in the pit lane. Something has happened there that I've completely missed. Jeff Sharp looks to the inside on James Hurlo. Makes that pass rather nicely. Calm, strategic thinker, Jeff Sharp. You'd call him the Colin Turkington of Evo Sim Racing if it wasn't for all the ramming he does. Hurlo looks to come back at him. Pulls to the inside. Good dicing from these two, relying on these two really for the excitement in the closing stages of this one. That said, Steve Everson is closing that gap back to Chris Hulse in that battle for first place in the M category. Steve Everson will be looking to get a good run through the first turn and then drag his way up to Chris Hulse as they go through the nondescript turn 2 for the heavy braking zone of turn 1. I think I must have had poor connection on Friday because everything keeps lagging a bit. Hulse goes defensive. Everson looking to get better drive out of the corner, and he has done. See in the background there, 3.5 seconds back, Anthony Marriott, then Will Thomas as well. He's still attempting to recover, has gained a position. And Steve Everson pulled to the outside, can't quite get all the way around the outside. Hulse defending admirably. Oh, and that's Chris Hulse. He has spun, and Steve Everson goes into the side of him. Ignore that person, it's only Will Thomas, not in this class. The question is, what level of damage has Hulse got? What level of damage has Steve Everson got? Anthony Marriott already is up into second place because of that. Will that damage be slowing down Steve Everson? Looks like it might be, because he's being closed in on the straight sections by Anthony Marriott. 0.5 of a second. It's tumbling down very quickly. He's got to go into the pits. That's why it's tumbling down quickly. Absolute drama in the final stages of this AM category race. And Chris Hulse also has to pit. Anthony Marriott licking his chops. Just call him George Russell. He has inherited a win that did not look likely. And with Chris Palmer 20 seconds further back, he can just cruise to the victory here. Anthony Marriott. Well, Chris Hulse is closing the gap and looking to push the inside. Steve Everson is hanging it out around the outside. What can they do? Chris Hulse is through. And you can see in the top left there, Pendlebury has crossed the line to take first place in the pro category. Jamie Nicholson takes second, and Slattery and Sharp takes third. Anthony Marriott will shortly be crossing the line in the AM category. Here he is. And there he goes across the line. Well done, Anthony Marriott. Right then, let's take a look at the results. Let's go to our pleasant scenic cam. Starting off with the AM category this time, Anthony Marriott inherits the win from Chris Hulse and Steve Everson. It looked like it was going to be a battle between Hulse and Everson for first place. It turned into a battle for second place after Chris Hulse's unfortunate spin. Third place and the podium was rounded out by Steve Everson. We then had Chris Palmer in fourth place with Axel Edwards in fifth. He was 7 laps down and decided to retire. Josh Morris was 19 laps down from the end in sixth. Taking a look at the pro category then, Lord Penderbury takes the victory. 4.7 seconds up the road from Jamie Nicholson. Jeff Sharp rounded out the podium in third place. James Hurlow did his fair share of leading this one, but an unfortunate drive-through penalty and a slower pit stop than was ideal has rendered him off of the podium and in fourth place. Will Thomas, early lap dramas for him, he's in fifth, and Dan Slattery, I believe it was a penalty for him as well. He is 20 seconds behind Will Thomas in sixth.